This is a press conference with Warren Haynes from Government Mule, the Warren Haynes Band, the Allman Brothers, and The Dead at MerleFest 2013, which was the year following the death of Doc Watson. Listen in to see why I had to ask.
Doc Watson was one of the few things musically that my dad and myself and my brother, we all agreed on. There wasn't a lot of music when I was growing up that we all liked, and one of the few things would have been Doc. I think I saw Doc for the first time when I was 14 or 15, and I was lucky enough to see him probably 4 or 5 times. Saw Merle a couple of times, and it was just even as a young teenager, I'd been playing guitar probably 2 or 3 years at that time, and it kind of opened my eyes to a whole different style of playing. His touch was so subtle and so finesse oriented that it made me examine my own playing and try to figure out how to adapt some of that and how to bring some of it into my own style. I was a big fan from a very early age.
Where'd you meet him?
I met Doc, trying to remember the first time I saw him play in Asheville, maybe Stone Soup or something like that. I also saw him at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, Tennessee, when I was living down there. I saw him several times, but I only met him like really briefly, like nice to meet you kind of briefly.
So what's it like then to be now here at MerleFest? Or
Well,
what's MerleFest mean to you? And
It's a big honor to be here, starting with being here for Doc and Merle, but also all the other amazing musicians and artists that are here. Some of which are close friends, and some of which haven't met before now. And it's great because these kind of things tend to be kind of like family reunions for the musicians, and you meet people and then you keep coming back and you see them not enough, but every time you see each other is a good experience, and this is one of those kind of things.
So how does it feel to be at MerleFest for the first time since Doc has died?
Well, it's bittersweet this being the first one without him. I do a show in Asheville every year called the Christmas Jam, which is a benefit concert, and I've tried for a couple of years to be able to get Doc to come to that, and was the last couple of years scheduling didn't allow it, and I was hoping that one of these days he would be able to come, and that never did work out. So I'm really honored to be here at his festival, and everybody here is here for the right reason. Everybody's here sharing the spirit of the music, and those that knew him personally, I think everybody that I've ever spoken to that was friends with him just talked about what a wonderful human being he was. And I met him, but I can't say I really knew him. But I'm honored to be included in this whole thing.
So with you having ties with Asheville, obviously, and this in general Western North Carolina area, what do you think it is about this area that's so special for this kind of music and for music in general?
Well, there's a certain type of music that came from this area, and Doc's very representative of that. There's a lot of guitar players from this part of the world, and a lot of really, really, really good guitar players from this part of the world. These days, it's hard for regions to maintain their own style of music like you could, when I was growing up, because with the internet and with everybody having access to anything, someone in Iceland can listen to Doc Watson play, and someone in Boone, North Carolina can listen to African music, and that's great, and it makes for a lot of wonderful hybrids. But it also takes some of the regionality out of the music, because when I was growing up, people from this part of North Carolina played a certain way and had that in common, and we all influenced each other, and we all listened to the people that came before us, and it was like a thread that ran through the music. And not that it doesn't still exist, it's just different. And the change is inevitable. And I think the positive outweighs the negative, but the one negative being that some of the regionality gets a little blurred in that way, because throughout the South, wherever you would go, you would hear, even if it was bluegrass or country music or blues or jazz or whatever it was, each region had its own style. And that doesn't exist quite as much as it did.
You have played with many legends. Who do you remember playing with the best?
I've been very lucky to have played with a lot of my heroes, and some of the highlights for me would be with Bob Dylan, with John Lee Hooker, with Eric Clapton. Those three stand out very highly, but I've been very fortunate. A lot of my heroes have honored me with being able to play with them.
And I was told to ask this question. Do you prefer playing the 335 Gibson or the Les Paul?
Well, the Les Paul in Government Mule and in the Allman Brothers seems to be more my guitar of choice. When I play in the Warren Haynes Band, which is a little more soul music and rhythm and blues, I like the 335 more. I think gradually I'm kind of playing whichever guitar fits the music a little bit more. And so tonight I'll play a few different instruments because they help sonically kind of sell the music.
You see why I had to